Okay, today we are playing a game on VoD. We were in the Silver SR range, and we'll be playing Reaper the entire way through. We are also on the console today, so consider yourself forewarned. And it's Halloween! I don't have a costume, so I'm just gonna wear the Squid of Shame. That's close enough. So, let's start the game. So we're defending first, and look, it's spooky VoD. Isn't that nice? It all comes together. So we're up to no good right at the start, as you usually are as Reaper. Tragically, D.Va decided to come this way, which is fairly rare by all accounts, so a little unlucky. And no one was particularly keen to come around and help her. Now, they're sort of on to us a little bit at this point, but fortunately, they have no object permanence. So as soon as we went into that building, it's like we ceased to exist. Now we come back again, and D.Va's like, oh shit, he came back again. What the fuck? I thought he blinked out of existence. So the thing with coming back out again was that we had just used Wraith Form to escape previously. So now, going back in that far into the enemy team without Wraith Form becomes a very risky decision to make, and given that they had just seen us moments prior, they would have, in all likelihood, been expecting that. You know, we're in Silver, so who fucking knows, right? Maybe they just did completely forget we were in there. But it was a risky move to make. Oh, he's upset about that one. Anyway, we should not have gone right back in with Wraith Form on cooldown. Very risky business. We had Wraith Form here, right? Yeah, just didn't push it in time. Sad days. We did have Wraith Form. We could have pushed it after we got shot by Hans, because we dropped down to 12 health, which is, you know, it's cutting it a little bit close, but sometimes you get shot by fucking Lumbersmith Hanzo, and it's very upsetting. I remember Scatter Arrow? Dark times, dude. Dark times. I'm still mad, okay? I'm still mad that when they changed Hanzo, all they actually did was change Scatter Arrow to, what's it called? What the fuck is Hanzo's arrow called now? I want to say Sonic Arrow, but it's not Sonic Arrow. It's not Rapid Arrow, that's too on the nose. Hanzo, Overwatch. What the fuck is Hanzo's ability called? Storm Arrow. Storm Arrow. All they did was replace Scatter Arrow with Storm Arrow. I really was hoping that they would make him more into, like, Green Arrow, and just give him a bunch of different, like, utility arrow abilities. Like, I wanted him to have an explosive arrow, a frost arrow, I wanted him to have, like, maybe an arrow that did less damage, but it penetrated shields, you know. I wish they leaned more in that way, of just, like, giving him more utility, but no. Just give him Scatter Arrow, but more focused. And then, for all fairness, it worked out fine. But I'm still mad, okay? I'm still mad about it. I wanted Green Arrow to be in the game, alright? Leave me alone. So we've got Death Blossom built up right now. Having a little bit of trouble killing the Sombra, you know, ain't better. Oh, Hanzo's right next to us. We didn't notice Hanzo. He was, in fact, stood right next to us and didn't notice that we were there. So we could have tried to kill him while we were tucked into the clock tower. You know, shame we didn't kill the Sombra. Bah, yeah, ain't better. Yeah, I was gonna say that spinning right here is justified because Mercy just came close to the ground to res someone while in Valkyrie. And if Mercy comes down to the ground and you've got Death Blossom, dog, I will trade Death Blossom to kill Mercy and Valkyrie any day of the week. So, that's exactly what we did. It worked out. We killed a couple other people as well. Hooray, we're fending them off. Sombra's next to us in the room on the right. Sombra's kind of hard to kill, and there she goes, disappeared. Looks like she didn't actually have a translocator drop down anywhere. I think she threw it out right there, so if we came over to her, we might have been able to kill her before she got away, but we were chasing after, you know, somebody also important, so fair enough, whatever. It's not the end of the world that Sombra got away. You kind of expect that with Sombra, that she's gonna get away, because, you know, translocator's that way. Hey, here's D.Va. We can come out and, you know, go for a little bit on the D.Va. It's fine. We've got, the enemy team still regrouping at this point, and we've got Wraith Form to get away if we really have to. You can get away with some really ballsy aggro plays as Reaper, as long as you've got Wraith Form up, because, oh look, suddenly we're all the way back in our team again. Now, the unfortunate thing is that, you know, if you're doing it in, like, this SR, you might encourage people to do some bad things. like, Reinhardt players, if they see you up to no good, they might think, I can go too. We decide to spin right here. I'm not really super keen on doing that, because that was, like, best case scenario, we killed 2 people with that spin. But given they didn't know we were coming, I would have rather just walked up behind Mercy, tried to kill her, and then move on to Hanzo. You'd be surprised playing Reaper how often you can just start at the back of the team and be able to walk all the way through them. Because people are bad at noticing that you're killing people behind them. Especially on console, where people are less likely to be, like, wearing surround sound headphones. Because there's 2 ways you know that somebody's on your team is being killed behind you. You look at the kill feed and go, oh, Reaper killed Widowmaker? Wonder where Reaper is. Or you hear him behind you. Console players tend not to be doing that so much, so you cut out one of the ways they might know. So I went back here because we woke this boy up. We could have just, like, walked right up to him, put our shotgun in his face, and he's gonna fucking die. Instead, we woke him up from all the way over here, doing minimal damage, and now it suddenly became a lot harder to kill the Lucio. Lucio died anyway, so, you know, if you don't get punished, you don't have to learn. That's what I always say. But, you know, suboptimal. Would have been better to just, like, not even give him the chance. So we got nano boosted and promptly fucking murdered that Reaper as a result. We really don't know what we're doing here. Like, we've changed targets a couple times now, because we killed him, that's great. We're like, alright, Orisa? No. Diva. Alright, no. Orisa. Alright, yeah. So we've changed targets a few times rather than just, like, focusing on the one. I'd rather just focus on the Orisa. She's really easy to kill once you, like, get on her as Reaper. It can be a bit of a time-consuming affair, but when you're nano-boosted, you're gonna kill the Orisa real fast. Did also see Mercy tethered to someone, so we could have chased Mercy's tether after her as well, but Reaper kills tanks so fast that, like, it's not really a big deal if you go for them first, because you get on the fucking Diva, Orisa, whatever, you are gonna kill that boy real fucking fast. So, fight's still going okay in our absence. We regroup. Mercy, you know, managing to swoop away from us right there. We could have just, like, kept chasing the Mercy, because she GA's over there. We've got Wraith Form. We're about to have to reload anyway, so we could Wraith Form through the Orisa after the Mercy since she's rezzing someone and try to kill the Mercy before she rezzes that person. Instead, we sort of start doing that, but we just use Wraith Form to reload and attack the Orisa instead. At that point, I'd rather use the Wraith Form to close the gap on the Mercy and try to kill her, because her getting the res off on someone, well, that just made life so much more difficult. There's no guarantee we actually stop her from getting the res off anyway. I think she might have just barely gotten it off even if we went after her. But, like, worst case scenario, you know, in that case, we went after the Mercy, we still killed her, and she got the res off, so, like, you know, that's good enough, right? Unless, like, we miss and, you know, that can always happen as well. There's no guarantee you'll execute on the plan properly, even if you've got it all mapped out in your head. NG players will be well familiar with this problem. So, we've drop bared on this Hanzo right here, and it got a little sketchy, but we got him, it's okay. That's a risky choice to make right there. Really low... Oh, God mercy. Does this work? No. Okay, I haven't watched this game ahead of time. It looked like it might. I was honestly just like... Alright, that's fair enough. Like... Yeah, we might get away with it. Nah, Orisa figured out right towards the end that she should probably use Fortify. So, this was a risky choice to make, to go after the Lucio, because we're going after a small health kit right now, and we're not gonna get full health. Lucio's hard to kill. So, this is risky, rather than just using Wraith Form to, like, disengage. We could go over to the castle, regroup with our team, pick up the large health kit, and then, hey, great, fantastic, we can just go back out again. We might have been more prompted to do that because we're so close to having Death Blossom up right now, but that was a risky choice to make. This is fine, I suppose, but then, like... It's really being in this situation to begin with at all that I'm not happy about. Because, like, yeah, we killed the Mercy while she was getting the res. That's cool. And then we start spinning. That's just kind of the logical place to go after everything that's happened to that point to begin with. But I'd rather just not be in that position. I would have rather just disengaged after we killed the Hanzo, heal up, come back out once we've got more resources to work with, rather than going all in on that play right there. So this is not a particularly good teleport, because we teleported from somewhere pretty visible to somewhere still pretty visible, because we didn't actually get in the doorway. And you don't want to be doing that with Shadow Step. You want to be out of sight, teleporting to somewhere that is also out of sight. Because it's, you know, it's easier to use it aggressively now that they, like, massively sped it up and everything, but, it's still, still would rather just use it, like, stealthy, you know? So this was a very greedy play to go for. The entire enemy team is, like, right there. I'm not sure if we had Wraith Form up. If we have Wraith Form up, then, like, that's less greedy, but, I don't remember, and I don't want to go back, like, 30 seconds to check that, so, we'll leave that one just in a state of flux. It was either fine because we had Wraith Form, or it wasn't because we didn't have Wraith Form. We had Wraith Form to reload. So, yeah, when we have to reload right there, you pretty much just, like, Wraith, reload, getting closer to Mercy as well off the speed boost and everything. We are making this easy for Mercy, because we are walking at the Mercy in a straight line right now. So she is getting to just, like, hold her cursor roughly over our head and kill us. We want to try and put the moves on her a little bit. At least, like, crouch, uncrouch as we're moving towards her. But, you know, like, look, from her perspective, she really just is like, damn, he's just, like, running right at me, huh? Like, we didn't do anything to put the moves on her. Running at anybody in just, like, a straight line is always making it easier for them to kill you. You gotta try and, like, put a bit of bob and weave on it. At least crouch and uncrouch, because then if they're aiming for your head, they're gonna miss a few shots at least, you know? Don't just go, like, straight at him. So we got into a scuffle with Reaper. He's got assistance because his Lucio's coming up behind him, so disengaging is much safer in that situation. Mercy really wanted to go for that res and then was like, oh shit. Reaper spinning next to us. Reaper's dead. Not dead, he's asleep. Well, you know, being dead is just sleeping on a longer scale, right? So, you know, technically, I guess. So we've got Death Blossom built up now, and this is a fair enough time to use it. I would have done the same thing. Oh, okay, alright. I was like, is he gonna push it to the edge? No, someone's there. Alright, so we've stopped him. All fair enough. Fine time to spin, right next to Mercy, Hanzo, and Reaper. Reaper got away with it, but we got the other two. You know, it's all good, all good. So, now we have to attack. And they've got a Mei. How inconvenient. Not of massive concern to us as Reaper, because if Mei starts freezing us, we can disengage with Wraith Form. The worst case then is that she walls off our method of escape, which is upsetting when it happens. But as long as we're careful about where we approach Mei from, that can't really happen. So, the enemy tanks are massively overextending right now, because they're out here without any tanks. D.Va did a pretty good job of fucking us up when we went on Orisa, so we kind of, oh god, we're doing it again. We're just, like, making it really easy for D.Va to kill us right now, because we were just, like, running at her in a straight line, not moving around. I'm sorry, the fucking furnace just kicked into overdrive, so I'm sorry if you can hear that suddenly. So we were doing that again. We were making it really easy for D.Va to kill us, because we weren't putting the moves on her. Took us a while to kill those two tanks. Let me finish that train of thought. It took us a while to kill those two tanks, because, like, D.Va did a pretty good job of fucking us up, so we had to, like, disengage, re-engage, but they were so overextended, there was time for us to do that. So approaching Mei did get a little scarier right there, because we had Wraith Form down, but she also couldn't get away, so that's also good, so we managed to get her in the end regardless. We had Wraith Form, right? Yeah, we had Wraith Form. Just didn't use it in time again. Such is life, you know, you gotta be ready on that button, especially when you're facing people like Hanzo, who can suddenly do, like, a lot of damage to you. You gotta be ready to push that button. Just in general, you gotta be ready to push that button, but when you run into somebody who's gonna do, like, who can, like, suddenly do a lot of spike damage to you almost out of nowhere, you gotta be ready. Fortunately, it's difficult for him to, like, one-shot us, but, like, you know, it still happens. You know, sometimes you walk around a corner and Hanzo shoots you because you came around the corner as he was spamming. You know? That's something that's always going to happen. This was a risky about face to go for right here, because, I mean, you know, we're going for the person. Oh, god, it all gets very scary. Disengage. Going, like, that way. Then we're like, oh, screech over this way. that's a little scary to do. Hopefully, I would hope Orisa would put her shield down, because suddenly going over to the doorway, it's like, we're not gonna get through that doorway before we're out of Wraith form, but if we get to Orisa and she puts her shield down, we'll get there before Wraith form's over, so that was scary, but I mean, you can argue at the same time you can't trust Orisa, right? So it just matters on, you know, depends how you look on it. Things were going well, then suddenly things were going a little less well over here. We do have Death Blossom built up. Most of the enemy team are dead, so it's not unimaginable we pulled that fight out, but it's still safer for us to wait for our team to regroup before we try anything again. This is a risky teleport. This is still kind of out of sight, like, we're teleporting kind of out of sight to a kind of out of sight location, but they can really easy see us teleporting to and from these locations, so this is still risky to do. They didn't know, so hey, all good, but all the same, right? Sorry, I'm going back here to see, like, what D.Va was doing. She did just drop Defense Matrix, so she can't put it up again for that after that. It's basically fine, you know, like, I can nitpick about it a little bit, but it's, like, basically a fine time to use Death Blossom. The concern is just mostly, like, there's no way Mei dies, because she has to have Ice Block up. No, it's Cryo Freeze, the ability is called. She has to have Cryo Freeze up right there. And D.Va, there's no guarantee D.Va dies to the Death Blossom, right? So it's like, we mostly use that spin to, like, get Cryo Freeze out of Mei and kill Lucio, which is something, but, you know, we could aim a little bit higher than that, but I mean, it was mostly fine. So, we really, like, weren't sure about this towards the end, huh? We used Wraith form really aggressively to close the gap on Hanzo. Then we get there, and we're like, what if he shoots me? So we suddenly, like, get a little bit scared of the plan right towards the end. You know, like, I respect the determination on that play. Like, I'd go all in, to be honest with you, if I'm this far in. This is the thing. At this point, we're so in that there's not really a lot of choice other than to continue with the plan. Hanzo is up here alone, he is isolated, you know, there's walls all around him, so it's not like someone's about to swing in to help him or anything, but, like, we've used our escape to close the gap on this guy, so then suddenly, like, going, right at the end of the play is, like, it's like splitting the difference in the worst way possible. Like, I'd rather just, like, if we're gonna go in, like, I respect the play. You know, anytime somebody's gonna Wraith form up to somebody aggressively like that, I respect the play. It's just then suddenly going, right at the end. There's no poking and prodding with Reaper. You're either all in or you're not in. So, like, don't split the difference like that. Either commit or, like, don't go for the play. Anytime, like, you get through a play, halfway through a play, and then go, I'm not sure. Fuck it, man. Go all in. You decided to make this play, fucking commit to the play. And if it doesn't work, you know, you learn something for next time. And I always encourage people, especially when you're, like, learning a hero or anything, like, go as hard as you can. You're gonna fuck it up, doubtlessly, you know, but as long as you take meaningful information from the times you fuck it up, if you go as hard as you possibly can, you're gonna fuck it up, but, you know, as long as you're learning from it, you'll end up with a really good understanding of what your hero's limits are. And that's good for heroes like Reaper, who are extremely aggressive. Like, there's no poking, there's no prodding with Reaper. You're either all in, or you're getting ready to go all in. That's it. So we're waiting here to combo our ultimate with Sombra. Good stuff, you know? Very patient. We waited for Sombra to go in first. She emps everybody. We drop in. We spin on them. All good. Textbook play. No, Mercy. Like, don't do that if you're playing Mercy. Like, Mercy's just rezzing that person for the sake of it. Like, what happens if Mercy gets that res off against all odds, right? That person just dies 10 seconds later again. That's it. Don't do that as Mercy. Don't res someone for the sake of it, because you usually are just going to end up killing the guy a second time. So we ended up walled off, like, here. Very sad. We did use Wraith Form. What did we use Wraith Form for? Basically we got scared. Nothing too bad was happening to us. Yeah, we didn't really need to use Wraith Form right there. And then we don't, like, fully disengage either, so we just end up, like, stuck half engaged without Wraith form again. You know, I think we saw Hanzo and we were kind of hurt and went, oh, fuck, that's scary. Like, we didn't really need to Wraith form just yet. We could have held on to it for a little bit longer, but... I mean, they walled us off and then used ultimates, so, like, life, you know, sometimes you're allowed to just go, life is hard. So Sombra's dead. This is a bad time for Sombra to be dead. Oh, God. Oh, God, this is the worst. This is, like, the worst feeling. When you don't get the sound barrier, and, like, now you're hurt, and, like, they're going in right now, so they're not gonna heal you. Because they're more interested in going in. That's, like, the worst. I've been there before. So we end up, like, having to commit to this fight while we're, like, still really low, and we're just kind of, like, hoping Anna notices at some point. Anna still hasn't noticed, even though she had to, like, physically push her way past us a second ago. Lucio's trying to push us off the edge right now. We did back up, so he didn't get the opportunity, but he, like, really wanted that. After the Mercy's hacked, she can't GA away, not that there's many people for her to GA to right now. Killed Lucio, almost by accident it looked like, but that's okay, you know. Doesn't matter how you kill the guy, as long as you kill the guy. So we've Wraith formed in. May's here, unfortunately, so it gets pretty scary. Yeah, there's not exactly much else to do in that situation, so... I would have Wraithed in as well, and also just been sad to find May. There's, like, not really much else you do in that play, in that situation, because, like... This is the last fight. There's no, like, backing out and coming back again, right? You're pretty much all in at that point, so we end up going in. It gets a little awkward, but it's fine. It all works out in the end. May doesn't freeze us. We managed to win the game. It's all good, though it did get scary. Yep, this is fair enough. Man... May's just fucking hosing people down in front of the wall, and Hanzo's like, fucking sick, dude. Oh yeah, charge one of the arrows. Just sitting there throwing some limp arrows into Orissa's back. Come on. 14 Death Blossom kills off 6 Death Blossoms. This is pretty good. So what stood out most in that game? Basically, like, you know, be more ready to push Wraith form, because we died a few times when we had Wraith form up, which is, you know, kind of like just saying aim better, right? But, like, it stood out. It stood out. And, like, the other thing is, like, you know, either commit or don't commit. There's that. I just saw that right towards the end, so that's one of the things I'm thinking of more. Careful how you use Shadow Step, because, you know, we didn't get punished for it in, like, those situations, but, like, those Shadow Steps that we went for were very risky, because we were doing them from exposed locations to exposed locations, and no one saw, so, like, that's cool, but, you know... Be careful. We should have been a little bit more punished than we were. But we didn't get punished. So that means we don't have to learn. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I've started streaming on Twitch Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 PM EST till midnight EST. There's links to the channel in the description, but not today because it's Halloween, so I have to take my siblings around trick-or-treating. And if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future, and I hope you found the video helpful.